Who would have thought that in the midst of the busyness of a disciplined soldier accustomed to facing the harshness of military training, an ear piercing could become the trigger for heated discussions that left the public overwhelmed? The question is, why would a BTS member like Jungkook, JK, known for his strength, energy, and rare display of weakness, feel like removing his piercing just because of pain? And even more interesting, how did Jimin, JM, his fellow member and close friend, come with support that was not only sweet but also full of meaning? This phenomenon is not merely about accessories or celebrity lifestyle. For Jungkook, ear piercings have long been part of his artistic identity. He often appears with an edgy style, a symbol of freedom and bold personal expression. However, the pain he experienced revealed another side, the human vulnerability of a global idol. This situation shook many fans, especially because it occurred in the context of his mandatory military life, where mental and physical resilience should be the main priority. For many soldiers, pain caused by piercings is not a big issue. However, when such an incident happens to a figure like Jungkook, the narrative changes completely. Social media was instantly flooded with discussions, with some fans even feeling overwhelmed by the reality that their seemingly perfect idol could face such a simple yet painful dilemma. Questions began to arise. Does the piercing really need to be removed, or does Jungkook just need more time to adapt? In the midst of this confusion, Jimin appeared with a response that was both surprising and reassuring. Instead of merely giving a practical solution, he offered sweet emotional support. His encouraging words not only emphasized the solidarity of friendship, but also showed how BTS as a group continues to support one another even in small matters. Jimin's caring presence turned this issue into more than just a physical problem. It became a symbol of warmth in their relationship. Interestingly, Jimin's support was not only relevant to Jungkook personally. Many fans believe that Jimin's attitude reflects broader values, the importance of empathy, care, and moral encouragement under heavy pressure. In a military world full of rigid discipline, a simple gesture in the form of sweet words from a friend can become invaluable psychological support. This issue then developed into a public discourse. Several pop culture experts argued that Jungkook's case was merely the tip of the iceberg of a larger phenomenon, how the lives of celebrities undergoing mandatory military service are scrutinized down to the smallest details. From ear piercings, hairstyles, to facial expressions, everything is monitored with extraordinary intensity. It is no wonder that even a small statement like wanting to remove a piercing because of pain could trigger a wide wave of commotion. In addition, fans linked this event to BTS's emotional journey as a group. Jungkook, known as the Golden Magne, has long been considered someone who rarely shows weakness. The fact that he openly admitted to his pain only added to the emotional closeness between idol and fans. On the other hand, Jimin is increasingly seen as the group's mood keeper, someone who can turn weakness into an inspiring story. Will Jungkook's piercing eventually be removed? To this day, the answer remains uncertain. However, this small drama has already succeeded in writing a big narrative about human relationships behind the glamorous K-pop stage. Soldiers may be overwhelmed by discipline, fans may be overwhelmed by reality, but the public is also given a valuable lesson that even something as simple as an ear piercing can open space for reflection on pain, resilience, and the meaning of support from loved ones. In the end, what seems trivial turns out to be full of meaning. Jungkook's painful piercing is not merely an aesthetic issue, it is a reflection of the struggle between lifestyle, personal identity, and the harsh reality a global idol must endure. And Jimin, with his sweet support, proves that true friendship can be the most powerful remedy, stronger than any painkiller. Yet, one big question must be asked. Is all of this truly real, or is it merely a narrative deliberately constructed to create sensation? Is it true that Jungkook, in the middle of his military duty, feels burdened by a painful piercing, or is this story simply a fabrication designed to keep the public's attention? If all of this is just a media-constructed drama, who actually benefits? When we read news about a major idol like Jungkook, our minds are often trapped in an emotional vortex. We feel close, we feel concerned, as if we know every detail of his life. But is this closeness real, or merely an illusion formed by media narratives? And if it is indeed true, should we really be so affected just because of a painful piercing? Furthermore, the sources of information about this incident mostly circulate on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other platforms that often prioritize speed and visual appeal over factual validity. So, is it not reasonable for doubts to arise? Can the news about overwhelmed soldiers, Jungkook's piercing, and Jimin's sweet support really be verified? Or are we simply consuming a hoax polished with a dramatic narrative? Let us reflect again. Why is the media so interested in reporting the small details of celebrity life? Is it because these small things can bring them closer to the public, making the artist more human, thus creating empathy? Or is it simply because such narratives can bring clicks, views, and economic gain? If the latter is more dominant, are we not being played by a media system that turns personal suffering into public consumption? More provocatively, is it not strange that an ear piercing can shift public attention from more serious issues? While the world faces global crises, unstable economies, or worrying geopolitical conflicts, why are we so busy talking about a small pain in the ear of an idol? Is this merely a form of entertainment, or is it actually a strategy to divert the public's focus from more important matters? Undeniably, BTS is a global phenomenon where every move can trigger waves of attention. But does that mean we must swallow every narrative that circulates without question? If today the news about Jungkook wanting to remove his piercing because of pain goes viral, will there not be another story tomorrow that is more dramatic, more emotional, or perhaps even more absurd? Who guarantees the truth of all this? We must ask reflective questions. Is this narrative born from facts on the ground? Or is it a script created by marketing teams and media to maintain BTS's relevance during their military service? If it is indeed only fabrication, are we, as the public, ready to accept that our emotions have been manipulated for profit? And if it is true, is it important for the world to know that Jungkook is considering removing a piercing? Now is the time for readers to be invited to think critically. Do not let ourselves become passive consumers who are constantly fed dramatic stories from the world of celebrities. Every piece of information, especially those from social media with unclear sources, must always be tested for validity. Where did the information come from? Who spread it first? What was the motivation behind spreading it? Is there real evidence or just video snippets that can be interpreted freely? If we are not critical, we are vulnerable to becoming victims of hoaxes. We can lose the ability to distinguish between fact and fiction, between reality and sensation. In fact, in this era of information overload, skepticism is the main key to staying rational. Do we really want to live in a world controlled by algorithms and media narratives without ever questioning their truth? Therefore, to the readers, this question must continue to echo. Do you truly believe that Jungkook wants to remove his piercing because of pain and that Jimin gave him sweet support? Or do you see all of this as a product of the entertainment industry that skillfully uses small dramas to create big waves? In the end, this news is not only about Jungkook, Jimin, or ear piercings. This news is a mirror of how we, as the public, choose to consume information. Are we critical, reflective, and skeptical? Or are we simply swept away by sensationalism? The choice is in our own hands.